All right, here's the deal. We're ranking every BCS national champ from 1998 to 2013, including one split title, and we're not just looking at who won the trophy. This list is about how they won it. Did they dominate? Did they beat anybody worth bragging about? Did half their roster get drafted? Or were they just the last team standing in a mess of chaos? We're breaking it down by team strength, schedule, NFL talent, and how their title actually felt in the moment. Let's start with the bottom of the barrel. 2003 USC. Yeah, we're calling it now. Split title or not, this one's flimsy. USC went 12-1 and never sniffed the BCS title game. They lost to a 3-loss Cal team early in the season, and the computers put the AP number 2 and number 3 teams in, leaving Southern Cal behind as the number 1 ranked team. Matt Leinart was just getting started, and the roster had future stars, Reggie Bush, Lendale White, but they weren't that yet. Their best win? Probably a solid but unspectacular Michigan in the Rose Bowl. LSU actually beat Oklahoma in the BCS title, and USC just got the AP nod on vibes. Great program, wrong year to claim best in the country. 2007 LSU. The only 2-loss national champ ever. That's either a trivia flex or a red flag. LSU was loaded on defense. Glenn Dorsey, Tyson Jackson, Craig Steltz, and they beat 7 ranked teams. But let's be real, they also lost to number 17 Kentucky in double overtime, and unranked Arkansas. That season was absolute chaos, the season of cursed number 2 ranked teams, and LSU just survived it better than everyone else. They crushed Ohio State in the title game, but the whole year felt like watching a drunk guy win poker. Impressive? Sure, but not elite from start to finish. 2002 Ohio State. Let's not get it twisted. They went 14-0 and beat a Miami team many still call the best ever. But man, they made it ugly. Ohio State played like a team allergic to blowouts. They squeaked by Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, all one-score games. That offense? Think grinded out Big Ten with Craig Krenzel at quarterback and a heavy dose of Maurice Clarett. Yes, the title game went to double overtime and ended with that pass interference call. Legendary? For sure. Dominant? Not really. This team won on grit and luck more than raw firepower. 2010 Auburn. This team was basically Cam Newton in shoulder pads and 84 guys hanging on for dear life. Auburn went 14-0, but they were in danger a lot. Needed a miracle comeback versus Alabama, gave up 43 to Ole Miss, and survived Mississippi State by 3. The defense ranked 60th nationally, not exactly title caliber. Cam carried them to a natty and the Heisman, no question. But without him, that's an 8-4 team. One of the least balanced champs of the BCS era. All gas, no brakes, no defense. 2000 Oklahoma. Bob Stoops' first title team, and it looked nothing like his future squads. This was defense, punting, and hoping Josh Heupel didn't throw a pick. They beat number 1 Nebraska and dismantled FSU in the Orange Bowl 13-2, which tells you everything. No touchdowns allowed, but also no touchdowns scored until the 4th quarter. They finished undefeated and earned the ring, but the style was pure Y2K, low scoring, low flash. While their defense had future NFL talent, their offense wasn't exactly a parade of future pro household names. Solid but forgettable compared to the rest. 1998 Tennessee. First ever BCS champ, and it kind of felt like they were just the last team not to screw up. No Peyton Manning? No problem. T. Martin managed the offense, Peerless Price made big plays, and the defense held it down. But they squeaked by Syracuse, Florida, and Arkansas, and beat an FSU team missing their starting QB in the title game. They were undefeated and well coached, but the wow factor? Pretty low. You won't find a lot of Vols fans calling this the most dominant team of the era. Just a tough, clutch squad that got it done. 2013 Florida State. Jameis Winston was electric, the defense was fast, and the final score usually looked like a Madden blowout. But here's the catch. They didn't play anybody until January. The ACC was hot garbage that year. FSU won every regular season game by 14+ points, but didn't face a top 15 team until the national title. When they finally played Auburn, they needed a last-minute touchdown to win. Plenty of NFL guys came off this roster, Jalen Ramsey, Kelvin Benjamin, Devontae Freeman, but compared to other champs, this one just didn't get tested enough. Before we dive into the top 10, quick favor, if you've made it this far, hit that like button and drop your pick for the most overrated BCS champ in the comments. Alright, now let's get into the heavyweights. The teams that didn't just win, they owned the season. 2012 Alabama. This was classic Saban, a well-oiled death machine that never blinked, except for one night at home in Tuscaloosa. Alabama finished 13-1, and their only loss was a tight one to Johnny Manziel's Texas A&M. But they bounced back hard, crushed Georgia in the SEC title game, then humiliated Notre Dame 42-14 in the BCS championship. That game was over by the coin toss. Stat-wise, this team was balanced. Top 5 in scoring defense, top 15 in scoring offense. A.J. McCarron ran the show, Eddie Lacy trucked linebackers, and the O-line was stacked with NFL talent, including Chance Warmack, DJ Fluker, and Barrett Jones. Why only number 10? Because the regular season schedule was kinda soft. Only 2 ranked wins before the postseason. And Notre Dame turned out to be massively overrated. A dominant team, no doubt. But this was Bama on cruise control, not rage mode. 2006 Florida. This one doesn't get talked about enough. Maybe because everyone was still drooling over Troy Smith and Ohio State heading into that game. But Urban Meyer's Gators walked into Glendale and beat the brakes off the number 1 team in the country, 41-14. Florida finished 13-1 with their only loss coming by 10 points on the road at Auburn. They had 8 wins over ranked teams, including Tennessee, LSU, Arkansas, and the eventual beatdown of OSU. It wasn't a flashy team. Chris Leak was solid, and young Tebow was a red zone weapon. But the defense? Nasty. Jarvis Moss, Reggie Nelson, and Brandon Seiler anchored a unit that swarmed. This was the game that launched the SEC's national title stranglehold. And even if this team doesn't get the myth-making love of others, they earned their spot by smacking around one of the most hyped teams in CFB history. 2008 Florida. Now this was peak Tebow, the promise speech year. The year Florida looked like a team on a holy mission to vaporize everyone. They finished 13-1, avenged their lone loss to Ole Miss by going scorched earth, and capped it off by beating an electric Oklahoma team 24-14 in the title game. That OU squad had Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray, and Jermaine Gresham, and Florida just out-toughed them. This defense? Stupid good. Brandon Spikes, Joe Hayden, Janoris Jenkins, Carlos Dunlap, guys flying to the ball like they were shot out of a cannon. They forced 2+ turnovers in every game down the stretch. Offensively, Tebow was the heart and soul, Percy Harvin was all-world, and the whole team felt like it was lifted by divine SEC power. Compared to the 2006 version, this squad was faster, deeper, and meaner. If not for that Ole Miss loss, they might have cracked the top 5. 2009 Alabama. This was the first natty of the Saban dynasty, and you could already feel the formula clicking into place. Suffocating defense, dominant O-line, and just enough offense to break you. They went 14-0, beat 9 bowl teams, and wrecked a previously unbeaten Florida team in the SEC title game to get there. In the BCS championship, they took out Texas 37-21, though Colt McCoy going down early definitely changed that game's story. This squad had Mark Ingram winning the Heisman, Trent Richardson as his backup, and Julio Jones out wide. Absurd. But the real story was defense. Rolando McClain, Terrence Cody, Kareem Jackson, just maulers at every level. They weren't flashy, but they didn't need to be. This was Bama turning into a machine, and the rest of college football was on notice. 2011 Alabama. This defense should be in the Smithsonian. Seriously. The 2011 Crimson Tide gave up just 8.2 points per game, shut out LSU in the title game, and had 6 defenders taken in the next 2 NFL drafts. That rematch win over the Tigers? A 21-0 clinic that felt more like a physics experiment in suffocation. They finished 12-1, with the only loss being a 9-6 overtime heartbreaker to LSU in the regular season. The offense wasn't thrilling. A.J. McCarron managed games, and Trent Richardson carried the load. But they didn't need to drop 40. The defense took care of everything. Why not higher on our list? Because people hated the rematch. After the barn burner of an opening salvo, the prospect of another punt fest wasn't looking like the most entertaining final matchup. Not to mention that Alabama didn't even win their division. But by the time the BCS title game ended, nobody doubted who the best team really was. This wasn't fun football. It was big boy SEC hard-hitting football at its finest. 2003 LSU, Nick Saban's first title and the coming out party for his brand of organized chaos. LSU went 13-1, beat 5 ranked teams, and held an absolutely loaded Oklahoma squad with Jason White, Adrian Peterson, and Mark Clayton to just 14 points in the BCS title game. The Tigers led the nation in scoring defense and had NFL dudes all over the field. Marcus Spears, Corey Webster, Devery Henderson, Michael Clayton. The one blemish, a bizarre 19-7 loss to Florida at home, where LSU just couldn't finish drives. But they bounced back and controlled nearly every game afterward. Even though USC claimed the AP title that year, LSU went through the tougher schedule, won the actual championship game, and looked more complete down the stretch. This was Saban announcing to the college football world, "I'm not here to coach your team, I'm here to end your program." 1999, Florida State. This team never dropped from number 1, ever. First wire-to-wire champs in AP poll history. That alone puts them in rare air. Florida State went 12-0, had 5 wins over ranked teams, and took out an electric Michael Vick-led Virginia Tech in the BCS championship, 46-29. The game was wild. Tech actually led in the third quarter, but Peter Warrick went wild and shut the door. This roster was stacked. Chris Winkie at quarterback, Warrick out wide, Sebastian Janikowski hitting bombs, and a nasty defense with Corey Simon and Tommy Polley. Florida State University averaged 38 points per game and held most opponents under 20. More importantly, they were the gold standard at the time. This wasn't just a great season. It capped a decade where Florida State was college football, Bobby Bowden's crown jewel. No question. 2004 USC, Reggie Bush. That alone almost gets this team in the top 2. But when you add Matt Leinart winning the Heisman, Lendale White pounding defenses, and an absolutely loaded defense with guys like Sean Cody, Lofa Tatupu, and Frosty Rucker, it becomes obvious. USC finished 13-0, scored 38 points a game, and obliterated number 2 Oklahoma 55-19 in the BCS title game. That OU team had Jason White, Adrian Peterson, and Mark Clayton, and got boat raced before halftime. Yes, the title was later vacated, but nobody watching in real time thought there was a better team in America. They were dominant, stylish, and felt inevitable every Saturday. If the Bush-Push year was the heartbreak, then 2004 was the coronation. Pete Carroll's best squad, no matter what the NCAA says. 2005 Texas. The most legendary game in BCS history, and one of the most legendary players to ever touch the field. Texas went 13-0, averaged 50 points a game, and ran through the Big 12 in dominant fashion. They beat 7 bowl teams, including a 70-3 humiliation of Colorado in the conference title game. But none of that is why they're number 2. It's because of Vince Young. In the BCS championship against a USC team riding a 34-game win streak, Young put up 467 total yards and scored the game-winning TD on 4th and 5 with 19 seconds left. It's still the single best performance ever in a national title game, maybe in college football, period. That 2005 Longhorns squad had more than just Vince. Guys like Jamal Charles, Brian Robison, and Michael Huff all made NFL noise. But he was the engine. They didn't just beat USC, they took down a dynasty and built a legacy overnight. If 2001 Miami was the most stacked team, 2005 Texas was the most clutch. 2001 Miami. This wasn't just a championship team. It was an NFL training camp. The 01 Canes went 12-0, outscored opponents 512-117, and beat 5 ranked teams by an average of 22 points. Their closest game, a 26-24 win over a ranked Virginia Tech squad, and even that didn't feel close. The defense was suffocating. Ed Reed, Jonathan Vilma, Vince Wilfork, DJ Williams, Sean Taylor. And on offense, Clinton Portis, Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, Andre Johnson, Jeremy Shockey. Ken Dorsey ran the show like a vet, and Larry Coker didn't even need to yell. The team coached itself. The final exclamation point was a 37-14 beatdown of Nebraska in the Rose Bowl. It was over in the first quarter. No one, not 2004 USC, not 2005 Texas, not any Saban Alabama team, ever matched this roster's raw talent. 17 first-round picks came out of this group. 17. The 2001 Hurricanes weren't just the best BCS team. Contrary to the opinion of fans of that 2019 LSU championship team, this Hurricanes team might be the best college football team ever. So that's the list. Every BCS champ, ranked by dominance, talent, and how unforgettable they really were. Agree? Disagree? Let's hear it. Drop your top 5 in the comments and tell us who we got too high or too low. And if you're still watching, you clearly love this stuff. So do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And from looking at the comments in the last ranking video we did, nobody debates like college football fans. Until next time, see you in the comments.